Hello, welcome to the Healthy Alternatives podcast. I am Dr. Christine Sauer with DocChristine.com. Today's show is a recording of my radio show of the same name. Enjoy! Good afternoon, this is Dr. Christine Sauer, your host of the show Healthy Alternatives, here on 97.5 CIOE-FM, with live stream on communityradio.ca every Thursday at 12 noon Atlantic Standard Time. Thanks for tuning in today. In this show I will talk, mostly with guests, about all aspects of health, healthcare and wellness, from conventional to alternative and everything in between. My mission for this radio show is to help people change their lives for the better by informing them about different options to get and stay healthy and well, so they can choose for themselves which option might work in their case. And if you feel you are stuck in a dark place, I want to tell you there is a light at the end of the tunnel. For those who don't know me well, I'm a German-trained, conventional as well as naturopathic physician, board-certified in Germany for dermatology, which is skin and autoimmune diseases, naturopathy, allergies, and leg vein diseases. I worked for years with my ex-husband in his family practice and then in my own practice in Germany before fate brought me to beautiful Nova Scotia, Canada. I'm now working as a certified health coach and nutritionist, helping people rebuild their health from the ground up. Today, I'm trying something new. Lately, I have been thinking about how I can give you, my listeners, even more value. I've been asked very often to give some information about nutritional supplements, which ones are good to take and what the benefits or dangers are. So many people go to the health food store, go to the superstore or Sobeys and go through the pharmacy aisles and see all kinds of supplements. Now, which ones are good? Do we even need any? There is so much information out there. So I decided to start a little series of structured shows going deeper into health topics. I will be starting with a series about supplements. This is the first show in this series, and I will be giving you an overview about what nutritional supplements are and what's all out there, without any recommendation of specific brands. From there, we will be talking every second week about supplements and children and specific vitamins, minerals, and other supplement classes, so you will be better able to decide which ones or any at all are right for you. But I want to start with a word of caution. Although nutritional supplements that are licensed by Health Canada are usually safe, there are exceptions. This show is meant as educational resource only, not as health advice for individuals. If you need individualized advice, have any serious health condition, or take prescription medications, please ask your physician, pharmacist, or other licensed healthcare provider for advice. If you have any feedback, suggestions, or questions for me, I'm happy to answer them on this show or by email. Just email me at info@docchristine.com. Now, let's get started. And I want to welcome my fellow health coach, Jennifer, to the show. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Christine.
Now, I know
Thanks.
Right now you are home with your sick little Oliver.
I am.
And the poor little guy has a cold.
He does. He was quite sick on the weekend, had a pretty high fever, but was feeling better yesterday, so actually went to school, but was really up all night, on and off, just coughing and the whole
I'm really
morning.
happy that you are joining me today, because it's much more fun to talk to two people when we talk like a conversation and talk about it, because my monologues are really not as interesting as chatting.
It's always fun to have someone to talk to.
And I'm glad you're available today. And so let's start with what I get asked, do we even need supplements? I know doctors tell people, oh, you don't need supplements. You just need to eat well. So what do you think, Jennifer?
I think we could all benefit from supplements. Like you said, there's a lot of confusion out there. There's a lot of different ones. Most people aren't really aware of what they are and what they can do for you. But in some shape or form, supplements, I think personally, are the way to go. I think everybody can benefit from some. Doesn't have to be a lot, but just even some of your more like basic ones that are a little more common to people,
yes.
like omega-3 oil, for example.
And probiotics and multivitamin
Exactly.
minerals. But it's always hard to decide which one to take and which chemical forms is right for me, which does what, because it all says something on it and it's good for this, good for that. You go on Mr. Google and he tells you all the good things. It prevents cancer, treats you and makes you, they promise you heaven on earth, but it's just, most of it is not true, as we know.
Exactly. Yeah,
and
that's right.
That's why I decided to do this show, because I really feel maybe not everybody needs supplement. Now, let's examine why we need supplement, if we do.
Okay.
When you say you eat a healthy diet, most people mean vegetables, fruits, less meat, less red meat, maybe even no meat at all. But necessarily it's not true. Even if you eat organic or biodynamic food, ideally you get all the nutrients you need, vitamins, minerals, with your diet.
That's true.
But
it all depends on how your body absorbs it, though.
That's very important. And we know that
is.
as we get older, certain enzymes don't function as well anymore.
That's right.
So that's why it's important that we get the right form of the supplement, that our body doesn't need to transform anymore, but can utilize right away.
Exactly.
Many people can't afford organic or biodynamically grown vegetables or fruit. Or they are just in so much stress that zaps their vitamins and minerals. And regularly grown food just doesn't have the vitamins and minerals it used to have anymore, because conventional agriculture robs the soil of nutrients and doesn't replete them, especially the micronutrients like trace minerals. And we'll be talking about those a lot in this series.
That's exactly right. Some word of advice that we could give to our listeners when it comes to like choosing when to choose organic and when not, because it is quite pricey. In the States, they come out every year with two separate lists, and it's called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. And you can use those as a guide. So the Dirty Dozen is the top. It's usually about 13 or 14 different fruits and vegetables that have the highest amounts of pesticides and residues. And then the Clean 15, on the other hand, are the ones that aren't quite as affected by like the pesticides. So things like bananas aren't quite as bad, like if you can't buy them organic. On the other hand, on the Dirty Dozen side, I believe last year strawberries topped the list, apples, peppers, things like that.
That's quite surprising, and it's very important that people get that information, how to choose, what to choose when they have a limited budget, which many people have. And you can find it on the website of the Environmental Working Group, ewj.com. And it is a very interesting list. Even if you just Google Dirty Dozen Clean 15, you will get it.
Find it.
And it shows actually how much pesticides is in which fruits and vegetables. Now, locally that might differ a little bit, but it's very interesting that apples have so much. And it's not just on the skin, it's also a little bit underneath. And that's sad, because most of the valuable nutrients of apples are in the skin. So if you have to peel an apple to eat it, we lose most
all the fibers
of it.
in the peel.
What a shame. Yeah, no, that's very true. So I believe if we cannot eat all organic and biodynamic, is even better than organic. And
Right.
even many organic foods don't contain any much anymore because the soil is just regenerating and is not fully regenerated. For example, there are statistics that the same apple that we eat today has you would have to eat 36 apples today to have the same nutrients you got from one apple 50 years ago.
Oh my gosh, that's quite a change over the years.
Yes, it is terrible. And processed foods and prepared foods have even less nutrients.
That's right. Exactly.
So there's a case for supplements, but
exactly,
not all supplements are made equal, and we'll talk about that often. There's something that some supplements are, and I can say that generally when you look on it, and they have a long list of what's all in them, and even some protein powders have a long list of vitamins and minerals. But when you really look at it and examine it, the amounts are so little that they don't do nothing.
That's exactly right. Exactly.
And how little, it's interesting too when you look back, when they started processing food more, like white flour came up in the 1920s, people got beriberi, which is a vitamin deficiency disease. So what did they have to do? They had to add B vitamins to the flour.
Exactly, that's right.
For the people not to get sick. So there's certain isolated nutrients that they added so people don't get sick, but it's not enough to keep us healthy because other important nutrients are still missing.
That's right. That's right.
We just don't get sick that earlier from them. So that is quite interesting, and that is a classic example of how perverted we are nowadays. We eat the processed food and add a nutrient here and there, and the same orange juice that has often been stored for years and for months on end. And what do? They add vitamin C or some juice mixes.
That's right.
That are really mostly water and artificial nutrients. They add vitamin C to make it look healthy, but it isn't.
No, of course not. It's never going to be the same as eating an actual orange. And again, that orange depends on how and where it was grown. So,
and how long it has been on the shelf. That's another problem.
That's right. Exactly.
So that there's a lot of things, because people don't know often that, for example, just the vitamin C content of fruit and vegetables. The longer they are on the shelf, the longer they are in transport, the less vitamin C is left. And when we then cook it, another half gets lost. So that's why sometimes it's better, instead of eating vegetables and fruit out of season fresh, it's better to eat them frozen when they have been picked in the season at the height of their nutrient content.
That's right.
Now, let's stop here and end the first half of the show. It is great to talk about supplements today, and we are now going to commercial break. Please tune in after the commercial break here on 97.5 CIOE FM. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to Healthy Alternatives here on 97.5 CIOE FM or on the web at communityradio.ca. I'm your host, Dr. Christine Sauer, and today we are talking about supplements with my teammate Jennifer Gauguin. Thanks for coming back, even if your kid is sick from home. Thank you very much, Jen.
Not a problem at all.
And so I thought many people have no idea that there are different types of supplements and what all is out there. So to start, I thought we just do a little overview. And there's 8 major types of supplements.
That's right.
And number one, anybody that thinks of supplements, nutritional supplements, will think of vitamins.
That's right.
No, vitamins itself can be subdivided into fat-soluble supplements, vitamins, which are easy to remember by the acronym ADEK, vitamin
right.
A, D, E, and K. Those are fat-soluble supplements. And there's fat-soluble cofactors like coenzyme Q10, which is often subsumed as a vitamin. So those, if you take them, should be always eaten with a meal that contains at least some fat, preferably a good fat.
Okay,
if not, the body can't absorb it.
Probably something a lot of people aren't aware of.
No, they aren't. And we'll get into that more when we discuss the single supplements. So if you take a vitamin D supplement, many people do take it with something with fat, and be it a salad with some extra virgin olive oil, or even if you have a coffee with it and just take a half a teaspoon of coconut oil with it or something. It tastes good and it's good for you.
That's right. I actually put mine, I have it in liquid form, and I put it in my smoothie in the morning. So I have some soluble fats in that, and it's something a lot of us here in our northern climate can definitely benefit from, since we're not getting much from the sun.
Right.
In the winter months.
Yeah, and everybody really should have a test, because what many people don't know about fat-soluble vitamins also, they can accumulate in the body and get toxic if you take too much.
Okay. I don't think I was aware of that myself.
No, that is important, and many people have no idea, and that is one reason why some doctors say don't take them. Because some people think, I take just so much and I'm fine. But no, they do have side effects if you take too much. Mm-hmm. And that's why I recommend to always get a vitamin D level test before you choose to take vitamin D, to see where's your baseline. And then actually I have a table, and you can access it on Mr. Google if you search long enough, or you can ask me and I send you the link. Depending on the levels in your blood, you can determine how much you should take to get you to optimal levels.
So that's just a standard blood test that somebody could get from their doctor?
Yes, but some doctors refuse to do it. I've had that experience with some doctors. Most doctors are willing to do it, but I think here in Nova Scotia, our healthcare system is a little bit on, let's say they don't have enough money to pay for everything that might be good and valuable. So sometimes you have to do it through your naturopath, or I offer it for people that can't get it through their doctor. But that's always the first approach. Ask. Many doctors are willing to do it because they recognize the importance of it. And don't forget what the doctor tells you in your blood, especially in Nova Scotia. What's normal is just an average. And the average in the Northern Hemisphere is that you're deficient.
That's right.
So when you're normal, that doesn't mean your blood values are the way they should be for a real good, healthy life with no problems. So that's another little aspect.
Yep, that's right.
Then, of course, there's a water-soluble vitamins. And the most common, the best-known ones are vitamin C, ascorbic acid, and the B vitamins. And there's a long list of B vitamins. We'll get into them because it's a very interesting subject. It's not just B12, it's B1, 2, B12, and there's many times that we need not just one of the B vitamins, but many of them. Now the second big class are minerals. What do you think of when you think of mineral supplements?
Oh my gosh, like iron, zinc.
Calcium, magnesium.
Yeah.
And calcium has been in the press not long ago because studies say that calcium and vitamin D supplement don't have any effect on bone health, but give you kidney stones. And
that's right.
no wonder, I say, because they tested that in isolation. And if you only take calcium and vitamin D, you will get the side effects because you are missing all the other cofactors. I always say the supplements, the nutrients are an orchestra. And you have to have everybody there in the orchestra to produce a wonderful symphony, which is a healthy feeling in life. So if your first violinist is sick or ill or you don't have it, it doesn't sound right and you get sick. So it doesn't make sense when you want the symphony, oh, I'm just taking the cellist or just taking the hornist. No, you need the whole orchestra. And that's why the basis always should be a good, healthy diet. Vitamins and supplements generally are not a band-aid
that's right.
When you otherwise have a miserable, sad, standard American diet. So minerals are not only calcium, of course, and but magnesium, potassium, sodium. Yes, iron is very important, but also minerals, trace minerals. You mentioned zinc. The copper has to be in balance with zinc. Molybdenum, vanadium, and there's zirconium. There's many trace minerals that we really need, and we don't even know. The third big class are fatty acids, best known omega-3s, fish oil. Omega-3s are also contained in plants, but only as so-called ALA. And our brain needs DHA. So there we get a little bit into chemistry. We'll get into that when we get to the omega-3 show.
Because we were just talking about that the other day.
Yes, it is so important because the body has to transform the plant-based omega-3s to those the body can use. And the older we get, the less it works.
Yep, that's
Then there is pre- and probiotics. There's herbal extracts, plant extracts, and very popular now essential oils.
That's right.
And they can be wonderful. I love essential oils if they're good quality, and I know you're a specialist for that, Jennifer, and we'll hear more about that from you. Yeah,
for sure. And that'll be another show in itself.
Super. And then there's amino acids, neurotransmitters, like L-tryptophan or L-theanine. There's proteins, protein powders. There's enzymes. Best known are the digestive enzymes, but there's others. Then there's homeopathic remedies, which is a class by itself. Some people say it's placebo. Some people say it works. I mean, whatever it is, if it doesn't hurt you and it works, hey, why not?
Exactly. It's not gonna do any damage. It's not like you're taking a drug unnecessarily.
Right, and many people actually, they found out now that cancer patients that knowingly take a placebo, so they know it's just a sugar pill, still feel better. So
yeah, there's a lot that our mind can do.
And we'll get a little bit into the background of homeopathy, and maybe there is some energy effect in it. And I know I'll have Dana on it in one of the following shows, and she's a homeopath, so she will tell us a lot about that, and I'm looking forward to it.
That's going to be a good one.
Oh, yes. And then there's, of course, combinations and others. Our typical multivitamin mineral preparation is a combination, or many protein powders contain all kinds of different vitamins, minerals, and we already said that maybe it's not enough for health. And there's the whole science of orthomolecular medicine where they use high dosages to actually treat diseases with sometimes amazing results. So there's a lot to it, and
I think it's no wonder it's no wonder people are so confused, because there's just so many factors, and unless you have like a strong medical background like yourself, the average person wouldn't really understand all that. So this is a great series you're doing, because it'll help break it down, for the average person.
Thanks, Jen. That's so sweet of you to say that. Thanks for being there. And that brings me to the end of today's show. And it is really interesting that I think it's a necessary thing to talk in detail a little bit about such health problems and go more from common sense point and talk about what's cost efficient and what's really necessary and what maybe you don't need.
For sure.
So, if you enjoyed today's show, please let me know. Send me an email. Contact me with any questions, thoughts, comments, or suggestions. Or if you like to contact me or Jennifer, please, my email here is christine@communityradio.ca, or you can contact me through my website, docchristine.com. I am always grateful for feedback. I also wanted to extend a special thank you to today's producer, Jim Francis. Thanks, Jim. You're the best. You might not know this, but this is a volunteer-run non-profit radio station. And we even have an art gallery. If you're local and you'd like to drop in, we're at 11 Glendale Avenue, Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia. Thanks for listening to Healthy Alternatives. I'm your host, Dr. Christine Sauer. Tune in next Thursday at noon on 97.5 CIOE FM Community Radio with live stream on communityradio.ca for the next episode. Goodbye and have a great day.